Could you introduce yourself?
Alright, my name is Mo. I'm an English teacher. I live in Gwangcheon. Gwangcheon is near Hongsan. I come from South Africa and I've been in Korea for 8 years. Nice to meet you.
Does accent matter when someone speaks English?
I think the most important thing is that when you speak, try to be clear so that people can understand you. But I don't think accent is important for as long as you can communicate and let the other person understand you. I guess that's very important. It's not about how you sound, it's about whether or not you can communicate with other people.
Could you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Dorothy. I'm from Uganda, and right now I'm studying at Hanyang University in South Korea.
Does your accent matter when someone speaks English?
For me, accent doesn't really matter because I've been to so many places, so I've gotten to hear so many accents, and accent doesn't really matter as long as somebody can say something in a way that I can understand it, then I'm happy.
How do you think about Korean accent?
I think the Korean accent is okay. I think every country has an accent unique to it, and for me, I think a country's accent is one thing that makes that country or the people of that country unique. So for me, it's just another part of Korea that makes Koreans unique.
Could you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm 27. I'm from Michigan in the US, and I'm teaching at a university in Cheongju, South Korea.
Does your accent matter when someone speaks English?
English itself has many different accents. There are many nations all around the world that speak English as a first or second or third language. So English accent, I think, isn't standardized. There is a belief in Korea that American accent is the best accent to have, but if you look at America, America has many different accents, so it's even difficult to say that American accent is the standard accent. So when someone speaks English, the most important thing is they're communicating what they want to say, and the person that they're talking to understands what they want to say. That's the only thing that's important.
Hello, Joel.
Hello, Peter. Hojina.
Could you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Joel Henderson. I'm an English teacher in Korea, 30 years old, from New York State.
Does accent matter when someone speaks English?
If it's not too strong, it doesn't matter because there's so many different accents that are counted as perfect English. So as long as people can understand, I think it doesn't matter. But some people have a hard time understanding accent, especially people who aren't familiar with accents from around the world.
What's the most important thing to study English?
I think, of course, definitely practice, but you should practice to make sure that you're getting the grammar correct. I think that's more important, because if the grammar is wrong, you might say the opposite of what you want to say.
Hello. Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, I could. My name is Cooper. I came from China. I'm a student here.
Does your accent matter when someone speaks English?
Well, I think it does, because the people from different area they have their own way of pronounce. Their special way of structure their pronunciation. So if you don't get familiar with their part of accent and in the process of communication, you might get lost. So it is always good to know, at least know, get a sense of there is something called accent.
Could you introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Maribel from the Philippines.
Does your accent matter when someone speaks English?
Yes, it does, because there are some students who can't really understand the accent, especially if in a school there are like different teachers, like so many teachers from different countries, like British, they're speaking British English or American accents, and some students are having a hard time identifying the accents. Yeah.
Could you introduce yourself?
My name's Ryan and I'm from New Zealand and I've been teaching here just this year.
In hoops?
Yes.
Does the accent matter when you speak English?
In Korea sometimes I think Korean people focus on American English a lot, so if I speak with a strong New Zealand accent, sometimes some Koreans can't understand what I'm saying.
Can you introduce yourself?
My name's Pierre. I'm from Canada. I've been teaching here for about 7 years.
When you speak English, does accents matter?
That's an interesting question. I guess there are many different accents from different places. The listener's not familiar with your accent, then in some cases you might modify it. Sometimes I meet people from small towns in England, and when they start talking at first I can understand them. So they purposely change the way they speak so I can understand them more. But I think most people should just speak the way they're comfortable speaking in most situations.
What's the important point to study English?
Oh, that's a good point. I think review is very useful for picking up expressions and things. So if you document and write down things that you're exposed to, then if you review those expressions, then you can learn more efficiently.
Could you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Joan. I'm 29 years old. And
Does accent matter when someone speaks English?
Han Gi-won has a very distinctive Korean accent, but he is doing a good job as a leader of UN. And accent doesn't matter unless you yourself esteem is very low. You know what I mean? As long as you can communicate, doesn't matter at all.
How was it in business?
I've never done any business, but I've done many global projects with foreign friends, and I believe people need to learn different countries' accents because, okay, you are an American, you are a Canadian, you're a British person, but if you cannot communicate with someone who is in India, and if you cannot carry out a conversation on the phone, or you cannot carry out a business contract, because you're not getting their accent, I don't think your communication skill is complete. So you need to learn different accents in different parts of the world. So I believe accents play a huge part in showing how different people speak differently.